This Leopard tank belongs to the Singapore Armed Forces and is normally based in Singapore. But what you see here is happening some 6,000 kilometers away from Singapore. Before all the military hardware for the annual exercise Wallaby is transported over to its exercise area in Australia, they must first be stripped, washed and cleaned. This is important as it ensures that everything brought over does not carry any pests that can cause damage to the Australian ecosystem, which can affect their public health, agriculture and the environment. The Australian Quarantine Inspection Service, or AQIS, comes to Singapore to check on every single item before it gets packed.
Because Australia needs to be protected from exotic pests and diseases, and we do this with AQIS. We do pre-clearances on overseas deployments that come to Australia.
And all the preparation is coordinated in a 4-month operation managed by the SAF Forward Support Group, or FSG. They are tasked with the job of preparing and transporting the equipment, as well as setting up camp and maintaining the equipment when in the exercise area.
We have to work together closely with the AQIS inspectors to develop the cleaning standards that are required to ensure that we do not introduce any unnecessary quarantine risks into their environment.
Small items such as field equipment and weapons go inside the containers, and they are painstakingly cleaned and washed by the units going for the exercise. These units have 1 month to prepare for their inspection while concurrently undergoing training.
As an operational unit, apart from preparation, we also have to do trainings. So therefore, we have to balance our time between training and also doing all this preparation during admin time.
The biggest items going over to Australia are definitely the vehicles, which gets cleaned inside out by pressurized water jets.
It requires technical knowledge. You need to know which parts of the vehicles you are required to strip, how to strip them, and which are the outbound areas. Because on board of our vehicles, we have a lot of electronics equipment, and that can be damaged easily by pressurized cleaning.
Once the vehicles are checked and inspected, they are moved to sterilized holding areas such as this vehicle shed. Once the vehicles are parked here, they are then lined with a barrier of industrial salt used as a precaution against a common pest in Singapore, known as the giant African snail. Not known to many, the giant African snail is a pest common to Singapore, which eats a wide variety of fruit trees and crops, and attacks certain trees which can threaten Australia's native forests. And as a final step, the AQIS inspectors give their approval for the containers and vehicles in the form of something small and yellow. Each of these yellow tags have its own unique serial number, and once the container has been checked by an AQIS inspector, this tag is then attached to the container. This container and its content and these vehicles here are now safe to be either shipped or flown into Australia. Last year, the FSG were awarded the Regional Australian Biosecurity Award for their contributions to Australia's efforts in protecting people, animals and the environment against biological threats. They were picked for their efforts in facilitating the inspection of vehicles and equipment by AQIS. For this year's exercise, there are 3 new platforms introduced for the first time: the Terex Infantry Care Vehicle, the Leopard 2 Vehicle Launch Bridge, and the Leopard Class Recovery Vehicles. All of these platforms will have new cleaning procedures specially developed to ensure they pass their inspection. Watch out for the highlights of this year's exercise Wallaby in part 2 of this video, exclusively on Cyberpioneer TV.